Rude, you told a hilariously delightful orgy story about a sexy liberal show in New York, I believe it was, and I have no idea if one detail of that was true, but it was hilarious. And if it did happen,
we were all so drunk.
Good for us.
Who really knows?
That was back in my drinking days. Could have. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? You know,
it was dirty and beautiful at the same time. Thank you.
I know. That's how I prefer to remember it. You know, as just a magnificent foursome. You know.
Yeah.
Well, John was sort of off in the corner, but you know, that was.
All right. Anyway, thank you. And you were driving, so extra points for that. We were like, wow, he's driving
while filming, not while the orgy was going on.
Right. Correct. Okay. No revenge porn will be involved in the sexy liberal orgy?
No.
All right.
No.
All right.
No. We're classier than that.
Sure, you're a filthy blogger whore when you're on mic with us, but can I do an impression of you and Travis before we start talking here on the show? It's just a giant nerd fest explosion. Hey, did you see the Winter Soldier? Did you think pocket protectors in the eye? Okay, so what is this? Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Is that the what?
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it is apparently was proclaimed to be the most watched title for its opening weekend overall. However, I'm sure you know this, a right-wing media site has claimed that viewers tuned out en masse because of a scene in which a police officer harasses the Falcon because he is black. There's no way to prove, like, when somebody tuned out streaming, but it's a rumor they started that everybody tuned out right when there was a, Black Lives Matter propaganda or something.
All the Marvel fans who have known these kinds of stories were in the comic books all those years tuned out.
Yes. Sure. Right.
So woke.
And then they all unsubscribed is what the rumor says. Just
really?
That exact moment that there was any element of wokeness in the
I'm sure Disney is weeping wiping their tears with dollar bills.
And I hate to say it, but it doesn't have to be fictional. I mean, just over the weekend, we're in the middle of this very wrenching Derek Chauvin trial, and right in Minneapolis, right, Dante Wright was just fatally shot like 10 miles from where the George Foster tragedy happened. George Floyd, excuse me. But so he was shot. He was a 20-year-old. He was shot by police at a traffic stop gone wrong. So he's alleged to be been pulled over because an air freshener was blocking his view from the rear view mirror. And then when he returned to his car, he was fired upon by police. I mean, I don't. So they say, yes, they pulled him over for a traffic violation, discovered he had a previous warrant. Anyway, I don't. Here we go again, right? And then who was in Virginia? They pull over this fully uniformed lieutenant, mace him in the face, and that's because they said he didn't have a license plate, and he did. When they pulled into the gas station, right, and you could see he did have and they continue to harass him. And it's, I mean, Rude, just when you think we're making progress, you're like, oh, good cops are turning against bad cops in the Chauvin trial, then all this crap happens again over the weekend, right?
Yeah, and the thing about the Windsor, Virginia case is the fear that guy has when he is a soldier.
I'm afraid to get out of the car. Like who can blame him?
Lieutenant.
And he's telling them, look, you need to tell me what's going on, and they don't. They never tell him. They just keep ordering him out of the car with guns drawn, and he's scared as he should be.
Right. I mean, he said, I'm honestly afraid to get out. The officer, he goes, yeah, you should be. Well, that helped. I mean, they just kept escalating the situation. He told Nazario he's fixing to ride the lightning, which is a term for facing execution by electrocution. He was threatening to use a taser on him. I mean, I don't get the whole thing. Why did they mace him? I mean, he wasn't doing anything, and he did have a license plate. I mean,
well, they fired the cop that maced him. And
Northam is calling for a review already, and but I just.
But what a BS macho, thing to say. You're going to ride the lightning, like you're arresting Al Capone or something like that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, anyway, talk about thinking like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back this weekend. I mean, it's just, it already feels so tense with the Chauvin trial that if you can't get a conviction in this case, I mean.
Well, one other thing that's notable in that is telling in that video is when in the Windsor video is the cop who tells the lieutenant, yeah, a lot of people do drive to lit places, and 80% of them are, he says, minorities. And so he's saying, yeah, I understand that. I understand why. And it's like, well, if you understand that, if you understand why the fear is there, why did you act the way you did?
Yeah.
No provocation at all.
Exactly. Well, we all know from also from the weekend that entitled rich white men are the real victims, like Matt Gaetz, the head of the Snowflake Industrial Complex right now.
Yes, giant head.
Do we have the giant head? Do we have him in his whiny speech at Mar-a-Lago? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We have your back. That is the sentiment I have heard from thousands of Americans at restaurants, walking through public parks, sometimes just out on the street, in emails, online donations. And I can't tell you how much it means to me. This past week has been full of encouragement from President Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Jim Jordan, to the MAGA nation that shares so much love. So let me assure you, I have not yet begun to fight.
Okay, all right,
for the
Maddie.
country I love and for the nation that I know benefits from America First principles. I'm built for the battle, and I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, God.
He's built a Matt Gaetz is denied a meeting with Trump. Remember last week, Trump said he had his back. Yeah.
Denied.
Yeah.
No.
Computer says no.
Wow. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. That was
people around Trump that did that. Yeah.
Wait, that was not the tiniest of violins that you reacted to on Twitter, Rude. Hang on. This was it. Number 2. Here we go.
I may be a canceled man in some corners. I may even be a wanted man by the deep state. But I hear the millions of Americans who feel forgotten, canceled, ignored, marginalized, and targeted. I draw confidence knowing that the silent majority is growing louder by the day in this great country.
Okay.
And so I welcome to our movement the libertarians, the populists, the different, the canceled, anyone who can rally around our inclusive America First agenda.
Okay, as you said, Rude, dude, you're not Gandhi. You're just some Florida douche who hookers, including one who might have been underage. I mean, really? Just they're coming from me. They're coming for me, but they're really coming for you. No, not if you're not underage girls and paying them with Venmo, you morons. It's like I'm all of you. No, you're not.
While claiming the moral high ground over everyone, you know, because he was one of the biggest a-holes about anything that Hunter Biden, was accused of doing.
Yeah.
Taking some kind of superior attitude towards it. Yeah. You know what? F that guy. Except, no, don't F that guy. I just love this idea that you're all with me, getting them on board, it's like this amazing con job that he's learned directly from Trump.
Yeah.
Well, get them all on your side, get them to give you money, and they'll forgive you, hopefully.
Well, and also you pointed out on Twitter, Rude, I see Gaetz use the Trump method of getting someone else to make the payoff. What skeevy goons they all are. I mean, right? But except they're so stupid that it's the exact amount. It's like $900, like Venmo. Here, hit up whoever her name is. That's what it says on the Venmo thing. And then Greenberg pays her $900. It's just so ridiculous.
And you actually can. There is a setting where you can make your transactions private, I believe.
Private, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
But this is hubris. This is rich white guys that have been getting away with this all their lives, just like Trump. You're right.
Yeah, I mean and that's the thing is they did this and thought we're just party guys having a good time, and we know, and they also probably believed that the Republicans around them would have their backs. Yeah. He thought he got suckered like so many people with Trump into thinking, oh, I'm in his inner circle. He will always have my back.
And, nope. And by the way, we're having Katie Hill on tomorrow, who's been so great on TV talking about this, that of course it skeeves her out now that he supported her. Because you can imagine what he thought. Like, oh, she's a wild child like me. Like, oh, I'm all for that. And you're like, ew, she's nothing like you. It's,
it's like that phone call.
First of all, she was the victim of revenge porn, not the perpetrator like you. And number two, she, had a consensual affair with someone of age. Like, she's nothing like you. And it's just, Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, well, then it's like that phone call with Greenberg and Gaetz talking to that, I believe it was a legislator in Florida, or an official in Florida, this woman, and it just sounded like they were like, talking sort of with this undercurrent of, we want to support you, we want to get behind, it was like this undercurrent of sexuality behind what they're doing. And she felt like they were setting her up to, to possibly join their sex cabal.
Yeah, no, exactly.
God. A Matt Gaetz sex cabal.
Probably cabal, but a sex cabal just sounds
the one
like
thing.
Sex
more fun. Did not surprise me is you would need to pay for someone to see that giant forehead coming at them. Does not surprise me. You'd need to pay for that because that's who's going to do that for free?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the whole thing of him showing pictures on the floor of the House of Representatives, and nobody at no time went, whoa, get the F out of here with that.
Yeah.
And, excuse me, Sergeant at Arms, get over here and please.
You made a controversial little point, as you do, you controversial little minx. You said, I feel like we should talk more about the idea that Republicans are simply evil, not just the opposition, but actively evil in that they wish to harm as many people as they can. I mean, it's hard not to draw that from a lot of the COVID, what they're doing. You're like, I feel like they're actively trying to make Joe Biden fail so that they can in 2022 go, aha, see, rather than save their constituents' lives, right?
Between that and the mistreatment of migrants and the joy they seem to take in flouting COVID rules, the idea that somehow telling you that you should have a vaccine, that if you don't take the vaccine, you're going to cancel me. No, we're not canceling you. You're canceling yourself by putting yourself at risk of death and for causing more variants, which will kill more people. But it's the leadership that are there sort of, they love this attitude that they have that harms people.
Well, your piece that you wrote this week, conservatives finally just say your right to vote. I mean, you said, of course, unafraid to go full mother is Tucker Carlson, the most reliable penis fish living in the muck of Fox News. Last night on his show, Tucker Carlson forced Lady Liberty. I didn't know there'd been a name change. The host, who constantly looks like he just saw a black person for the first time, continues his hoodless white nationalism. He said the Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. Okay, so you're right, that is some white nationalism.
Yeah.
Okay. Just right out there saying only white, right? They come out and say it like you said. We should focus on quality of voters, not quantity. Like, the wrong people are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the wrong people are voting. So because Democrats want them to come into the country, as if somebody who's an immigrant here automatically gets the right to vote, which they don't. It's only citizens. Yeah. So it takes years and years before those people will have the right to vote. Hey, you know what Republicans can do during that time period? I don't know, try to win them over.
Yeah.
Try to get them on their side. And it's also just this admission of like, F it, we don't care about those brown people.
Yeah. What is this piece? Someone wrote, Tucker Carlson's the only powerful figure who consistently challenges elite dogma. And you said, yes, a millionaire who works for one of the biggest media corporations in the world definitely has the credibility to challenge elite dogma. I mean, what? I don't understand. That
was JD. That was JD Vance. That was hillbilly elegy guy who is just repulsive.
Oh,
running? Is he running for office? Has he officially declared, or he's exploring?
I don't know. But Josh on Twitter said the same thing. How dare you suggest Tucker, the son of an ambassador married to the heiress of Swanson Foods, who attended boarding schools in Switzerland and Connecticut, who never set foot in public school, and who's conservatively worth more than $30 million, is elitist? Yeah, how dare you? I'm like, what? Tucker Carlson, man of the people.
You, sir.
Oh,
yeah, that's again, they are successful. That is part of the con, is that they are successful in that.
Yeah.
I love that Anderson Cooper is totally upfront about the elitist background he comes from.
Yes. Yeah.
He acknowledges it and says it sometimes affects how he sees things. Why not do that on Fox? Why not say, right. Well, we know why.
Yeah.
But it's like, how can you look at these people that come from such privilege and think, oh yeah, they speak for me?
Yeah, exactly. And finally, you tweeted, Joe Biden isn't expanding the definition of infrastructure, which has always been broad and constantly updated. Republicans are narrowing it just to be ish. Yes, exactly. It's stuff that is wildly popular, that is good for everybody. That, of course, it didn't include broadband back in the 50s because there wasn't. Okay.
Right.
Right. Just where do you start with? They're trying to spin this as some sort of crazy space age stuff, right?
Yeah. It didn't include interstate highways in the 1800s,
Right.
It's so ridiculous that all they want to talk about is bridges, tunnels, and roads. And it's like, I don't know. What about water? What about the water supply? What about the power grid, Texas?
Yeah.
How about that? That's infrastructure.
How about kids being able to drink clean water and not lead? It's just on and on. Anyway,
again, that's evil. That's evil. They are doing things that we know harm people, and they are doing nothing to mitigate that.
Yeah.
That's evil.
And by the way, it's rightly called the Jobs Act because it is a lot of good union jobs. Ending on your tweet about the Amazon union push failing, you said brainwashing from decades of anti-union propaganda is going to take a ton of work to undo. But that's one of the things. It's not just green jobs, jobs that are good for the environment, but it's a ton of union jobs, what they're talking about in the jobs plan, right?
Yeah. And they're talking about those jobs, but in the Amazon thing, they wouldn't allow the union organizers to come into the distribution place. Yeah. And instead, but Amazon was allowed to have mandatory meetings where they talked about against the union.
Yeah.
I had somebody write me that said they got a job at Walmart, and the first training video they had was to not join a union if somebody comes around asking you if you want to join a union.
We're way long, but we've got to re-educate people, and because you're like, really, are you enjoying your weekends? That's unions. Are you enjoying not working 18 hours a day? That's a union. It's just
yeah.
All right.
See, Sean, that's what you should be doing. Don't
tell Travis.
Don't tell Sean about it. Don't tell Sean. Okay.
Could stand
everyone
like
but
Sally
Sean.
Field on a table. Union.
Everyone but Sean. All right.
You're all Sally Field. That's awesome.
Yes.
I'm the only one that's not Sally Field in this scenario. All right. Love you, Rude. See you next week. 53 minutes after the hour. Stephanie Miller Show.